Welcome to Menangle for the big preview of Miracle Mile Day. Gareth Hall and Amanda Rando with me. Gareth, great to have you as part of the preview.
Yeah, can't wait to get into it. Hazy, geez, it's going to be an exciting day on Sunday. Really looking forward to it. That Miracle Mile, everyone's talking about it. The big bets are rolled in nice and early, so it's going to be one hell of a race.
I think that is something we haven't seen before, Amanda, the amount of money early for these runners, and it's not just one, it's across the board.
Yeah, it's a really open Miracle Mile, I believe, and yeah, I can't wait.
Well, what about the field? I guess the only horse missing is Smolder, but in terms of the runners that are there, they've all earned their spot. They deserve to be there.
I think there was a few people critical of Harness Racing New South Wales, or not Harness Racing New South Wales, the club, by putting the Chariots of Fire away from that special day on Super Sunday. But in the end, it's worked out beautifully for the club, and it's been a brave decision. It's been a right decision in the end, because you get 2-star 4-year-olds, and Have Faith in Me's been heavily backed across the boards, and you've got a mare, Arms of an Angel, that everyone's talking about. She's gone from a maiden into a Miracle Mile. A wonderful story. So I think it's a big tick there for the club. And then you've got the proven champions like Bowtie, the King of Menangle, and Lenny the Shark's just been the dominant open class pacer, I think, in Australasia this season. He's won the Inter-Dominion, and then he went on to win a Victoria Cup. So it's just got all the ingredients of a terrific race. And then you've got horses like a Bling It On, talented sit sprinter like My Hard Copy, and then the X Factor in Montefiore, who I think he's nearly the best sit sprinter going around at Menangle these days. So it's just a fascinating battle.
Amanda, Gareth makes the point there. We haven't seen the 4-year-olds really take on one another, because obviously Arms of an Angel galloped before the start of the Chariots, and we haven't seen Bowtie and Lenny the Shark take on one another since they've been at their peak. So this is like a grand final.
Yeah, I think that's the magic of this race coming up on Sunday, is that the bit of the unknown factor with all these horses, and I think that's obviously reflected in the market as well.
The tab big bets. There have been some sizable bets here, 15,000 and a bet of 7,500 as well. So Lenny the Shark, punters are obviously keen on him, but there's also been a big bet of 7,500 on Have Faith in Me.
I think when we had a chat about it when the draws came out on Saturday night while we were here, we probably thought maybe Lenny the Shark was the big winner out of the draw. With Arms of an Angel drawn barrier 1, maybe she leads, Bowtie forced the breeze, and then Lenny the Shark's in the 1-1, and he has Have Faith in Me on his back. So speed map way, he looked like he had the better draw, and the punters came for him early doors, $7,500 bet. Then this amazing 4-year-old Have Faith in Me, he's proven before that he can compete in the open class. There's been a $15,000 bet on him, I think, and Bowtie, the money's coming for him as well at $2,000. But people try to compare, I think, the 3-year-olds in the Cox Plate to what Have Faith in Me is going to do. I think it's a tougher task for Have Faith in Me, because in the Cox Plate, those 3-year-olds get a big weight advantage over the open class horses. Have Faith in Me is off a level playing field, and he's got the worst draw from those 2 stars, and Lenny the Shark and Bowtie. It might not be the worst draw after the race, but at the moment on paper he's drawn outside of it.
Now, what about the iForm speed map? We'll have a look at that. What do you think, Amanda? Do you think Arms of an Angel holds the front?
Yeah, look, there is a slight chance she may not even score up. You know, her first start over here in Australia, she galloped. I know she had a bit of a gear mishap a fortnight ago here at Menangle. So that will be interesting. But I think she is the early leader if she does pace. And then I see Bowtie sitting there. But he's got early speed too. I don't know if he's got enough to cross Arms of an Angel, but yeah, they're the 2 leading ones, I believe.
Yeah, well, Lenny's got some speed, Bowtie's got some speed, Arms of an Angel's got the speed as well. Does anyone effectively slit their own throat and go forward at the start to try and cross Arms of an Angel?
I don't know if they slit their own throat. I think maybe Lauren Pinella's got a decision to make. I know Shane Trenton during the week says that he probably would like to hand up, but maybe the mare might not allow Lauren to hand up, because she does get pretty keen in her races. But she's a 4-year-old man. We can't forget she's gone from a maiden victory to a Miracle Mile. She's taking on these big boys that have been there and done that. And if Bowtie and James Ratchrow, or even a Chris Elford and Lenny the Shark, put their handlebars down at the start, I think they might roll the front. I've got Bowtie leading. I think he'll lead and be very hard to beat. Lenny the Shark, Chris Elford, he did in the Victoria Cup. He's always said with Lenny the Shark that he's got terrific high speed out of the gate. He might chance his arm at the start and try and get in front of his 2 main rivals and try and lead all the way. And then even Natalie in the gig, you were there on that Tuesday, she did say, well, Have Faith in Me, he's got some gate speed if she really wants him to get out. Maybe it's a year too early before we see that gate speed, but I don't think Arms of an Angel will be leading. I think either Bowtide. I think I'm leaning towards Bowtide leading, and then Lenny the Shark. He might even have a crack as well.
Well, we're going to have a look at some of the lead-up races now. Firstly, the Coca-Cola Sprint, where we saw Bowtide so impressive, Amanda. He worked to the front. I think what this proved to everyone, that he's got that speed over 800 metres to go with the dashes. And that was, I guess, the query going into the Coca-Cola. Could he go with horses like Lenny the Shark and have faith in me over 400, over 800 metres?
Yeah, look, it's very rare you see two 26 quarters backed up one together. And look, he's got a fantastic mile record here at Menangle Bowtide. He's only been out of the money twice here over the mile at Menangle, and both those times he finished fourth. So a lot of people are saying, you know, he's better over the longer distance. I think he's just as good over the mile. I think it takes a great stayer to sustain a fast mile, which is going to be on Sunday. So, yeah, I think he's got no problem over the distance, Hazy.
Another one of the lead-ups was the Cordina Sprint. Now, I know you think Montefiet's the best roughie in the race.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
His finishing burst to run down, bling it on in this Cordina Sprint was very, very good.
We've seen it all before with sit sprint kind of horses in a Miracle Mile, even if they're three back the inside.
Yeah,
even
maybe.
Carlu Mick with Robbie Morris, he sprinted like a on the mighty Quinn one night when he was free back the inside. Looked like he might even got smoking up at one stage. It is the place to be when they're running those quick miles and they're going 148 and even might be going 147 on Sunday. It's too hard to make up ground when you're out wide. Unless you're a very special horse and have faith in me, or Lenny the Shark might be able to do that. But I think Montefiet, the way he's been sprinting, like he came from last and gave horses like My Hard Copy a start, and Bling It On, who had a bit of a buffer on him at the top of the stretch, and then blew them away. So I think he's a wonderful each-way chance, Montefiet.
And then Chariots of Fire, we'll have a look at that now. Have faith in me. Look, tactics went out the window when the mare didn't score up Arms of an Angel, but Natalie still went to the chair and then was able to take the lead, and he just looked to be in second gear when he hit the line.
I agree. It was freakish what he did. Horses just, and he crossed the line with his ears pricked and just like he didn't even run that time. That's the scary element for the Miracle Mile, I believe, is just how easy he ran that race.
I think if he can win on Sunday, I think it's the arrival of our new superstar.
Yeah.
You know, Quinny dominated for a few years there. Blacks of Fate dominated for a long time. Christian Cullen dominated. I think he's the new force in Australasian harness racing.
I think that's the most exciting part of the day, because when we turn up here on Sunday, have faith in me, we don't know how good he is just yet because he hasn't been fully tested. He was a good 2-year-old, but he couldn't compete with the best of the All-Stars. But then he just came into his own as a 3-year-old. He was unbeatable, and his 4-year-old season's been first class. Like, it's hard for a 4-year-old to compete against these open class horses, but his run in the Auckland Cup was extraordinary. He gave a horse like Smolder a big start, went to the breeze and was still too strong. And Smolder nearly beat Lenny the Shark in a Victoria Cup. I know when everyone was talking that Arms of an Angel can run some really quick times and break 150 and beat, say, Have Faith in Me in last week's Chariots of Fire. Then she galloped and we didn't get to see what was going to happen there. But Mark Purdon said, well, this horse will go as quick as he needs him to go. He can go 147, 148 like if he wants.
That, is it?
So, yeah, I think he's something special, this horse.
All right, well, we need selections. Who are you tipping, Amanda?
Look, I've lent the way to tip Bowtide on top. I've struggled to split him and Have Faith in Me. I just think if Bow is parked in the death, I think he can dictate the race a little bit from there. And obviously the big danger is Have Faith in Me. I agree with you, Gareth. I think Montefiet is a great place bet and one that could add a bit of value to that first 4 jackpot.
Okay,
well.
So your 4 tips?
Yeah, Montefiet, and I've also included Lenny the Shark.
All right, what about you, Gareth?
I've gone with Bowtide. I think he can lead and be very hard to beat. But geez, I'm scared of Have Faith in Me. I think he's going to get the right run in my speed map, and he's going to be very hard to hold out. Maybe he's just one season too early to take on these season campaigners like a Bowtide and Lenny the Shark. And I think Natalie made a really good point in the gig on Tuesday that he can run the time, and times are great, but when they take on a star like Bowtide and Lenny the Shark, Have Faith in Me won't be able to cruise past a 4-year-old. Bowtide and Lenny are going to go with him in that last 100 metres. It's going to be a real dogfight in the end. So I think it's going to be a great race. For third, Lenny the Shark, he's just been brilliant this season, and he deserves to be right in this race, and I think he will. And Montefiore, I think he's flying at the moment. He's going to get that soft run on the peaks, and he'll be dangerous for Johnny McCarthy. His team's flying at the moment. And we're forgetting horses like a Bling It On. The draw really hurts him. Clint Hall over the moon with My Hard Copy. He's really, really bullish about his chances on Sunday. He thinks he'll be 3 back the peaks. So it's going to be a great race. I can't wait for it. But just with the champ, bow tight.
I'm going to go with Lenny. I just think the draw works out perfect for him. Look, I've never been a massive fan. Like, I've always respected Lenny the Shark. He's been brilliant in winning an Inter Dominion. He was just the best horse in the race. His Victoria Cup was a good, tough win. But I just think he mapped so well here. If he lands in the 1-1, he's going to be mighty hard to beat. For second, I've thrown in bow tight. I think the King of Menangle, he will defend his home patches as well as he can. I've thrown Have Faith in Me for third, but as I said, if he wins, I think it's the birth of the new star, and I still think in 12 months' time that's what he'll be. And Montefiore for fourth. I agree with
We're
Gareth.
all the same. What's going on?
Yes, I think he's the best roughie. So that's the Miracle Mile. It is race number 7 on Sunday, and you'll see it at Tabcorp Park, Menangle.
Program was brought to you by Harness Racing New South Wales and the New South Wales Harness Racing Club. This has been a Harbour Television production.